Have you ever wondered how long it takes for a perfect life to shatter? For me, it happened in the time it took to glance at a name on a phone screen. I was standing in our kitchen on North Clark Street, the afternoon sun glinting off the stainless steel, listening to my wife Sarah laugh. She was on Facetime, propped up against the fruit bowl, her face glowing. "I love you too, Mom," she'd say, blowing a kiss at the screen before ending the call. This had become her daily ritual. These long, cheerful calls with her mom seemed sweet, a daughter staying close to her family. But that day, as I walked past, the call ended just as I glanced over. The screen flashed for a second before going dark. The name wasn't Mom. It was Mark, and my world tilted on its axis. We had what I thought was the perfect life, a beautiful brownstone in Lincoln Park, 2 blocks from the zoo. We'd met at a rooftop bar in River North 10 years ago, a classic Chicago summer romance that everyone said was meant to be. I adored her. I still remember the way she'd lean her head on my shoulder while we watched old movies, her hand finding mine in the dark. But over the past few months, things had changed. The change was subtle at first, like a slow drop in temperature you don't notice until you're shivering. She became distant, her phone a permanent extension of her hand. She started working late. Client dinners that she'd come home from smelling of a perfume that wasn't hers. The mom FaceTime calls began around the same time. They were always, when I was around, a performance for an audience of one. "Just catching up with Mom," she'd announce, a little too brightly. The humiliation was a physical ache. I'd see her texting under the dinner table, a small, secret smile on her face. One night I saw a notification pop up on her locked screen. It was from Mark. "Can't stop thinking about last night," it read. I felt the blood drain from my face. I confronted her, my voice shaking. She looked at me, her eyes cold, and said, "Mark is just a colleague from the new project. You're being paranoid. Are you checking my phone now?" She twisted it, making me the villain, the insecure, controlling husband. She was so convincing, so dismissive, that for a moment I almost believed her. She and this Mark, they felt untouchable, wrapped in their bubble of deceit, while I was the fool on the outside. The breakdown happened on a Tuesday. I came home early to surprise her with tickets to a show at the Steppenwolf Theater, something we used to love. I found her in our bedroom on another FaceTime call. The door was ajar, and I could hear a man's voice. "I wish you were here right now," he said. "I can't stand him touching you." Sarah laughed, a low, intimate sound I hadn't heard from her in years. Soon she whispered, "He's clueless. It's almost sad." My heart didn't just break, it detonated. I backed away silently, the tickets feeling like paper-thin insults in my hand. I went to the guest room and just sat in the dark. The city lights of Chicago looking alien and cold. The loyal, loving husband was gone. In his place sat a stranger, hollowed out by betrayal, with a single, clear thought forming in the ruins: revenge. My grief turned into cold, calculating rage. I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to dismantle the life she'd built on my trust. The first step was proof. I installed discrete software on our home network, capturing everything: the FaceTime calls, the texts, the emails. I had it all. The transcripts were a special kind of hell. They planned their future in our home, using my money. Mocking my cluelessness, I learned Mark was a junior partner at her firm, married with 2 kids. They were both playing a dangerous game, and I was going to burn the whole board. I hired the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a shark known for leaving nothing on the table. We documented her spending on gifts for Mark. The hotel rooms charged to our joint account, the business trips that were just weekend getaways. I was building a legal cage and she was walking right into it. The social trap was next. Sarah was obsessed with her image. She was a chair on the board of a prominent local charity, always curating her perfect life for Instagram. Her biggest event of the year was their annual fundraising gala at the Drake Hotel. It was the centerpiece of her social calendar. I waited. I played the part of the devoted, slightly distant husband. I even went with her to pick out a dress. She chose a stunning emerald green gown. It's telling me she wanted to look perfect for us. 2 days before the gala, I made my move. I compiled the most damning evidence into a single, password-protected file: audio clips from the FaceTime calls, screenshots of their explicit texts, and hotel receipts. Then I sent an anonymous email to the entire charity board, to Mark's wife, to his managing partners, and to Sarah's entire company, from the CEO down to the interns. The subject line was simple: the truth about Sarah and Mark. The email body contained only the password to the file. The night of the gala arrived, huge, floating around the ballroom, accepting compliments, completely unaware that her world was already a smoldering crater. I stood by the bar, watching. Her phone started buzzing. Then a board member approached her, her face a mask of stone, and whispered something. Sarah's smile froze. She looked at her phone, her face turning pale. A wave of frantic whispers moved through the room like a contagion. People started staring, pointing, moving away from her. I saw Mark across the room, his wife screaming at him, her face streaked with tears. He looked up, saw me, and his smug expression dissolved into pure terror. Sarah finally found me, her eyes wild with panic and hate. "You did this," she hissed, her voice trembling. I just looked at her, took a sip of my drink, and said nothing. She was no longer my wife. She was just a stranger in a beautiful green dress, standing in the wreckage of her own making. She was fired the next day. The charity board ousted her. Mark's wife filed for divorce, taking him for everything. Our friends, our real friends, rallied around me, disgusted by her deception. The legal case was a slam dunk. The post-nuptial agreement we'd signed, along with the mountain of infidelity evidence, left her with nothing. Absolutely nothing. I sold the brownstone and moved downtown to a high-rise overlooking the lake. Sometimes I look out at the city lights and think of her. I don't feel anger anymore. I don't feel sadness. I just feel the quiet, cold hum of a debt fully paid. It's amazing what you can get used to. The end.